What to do if a debt collector is suing you? What options do you have? What type of defenses can you come up with? Let's just see what options do we have. You being sued by a debt collector, then you got a few options, some things that you might can entertain. One of the first things I like to think of is, you never even really know if they can even just jump to suing you. If it's a credit card, a lot of times they have what they call arbitration agreements. So the first thing I would do is go back and check my credit card and see if it even have an arbitration agreement. And when you first get a credit card, you should always look at your statement, because you actually have an option to opt out of arbitration. But in this example, the arbitration works in your favor. So that's something to keep in mind. And then I know you might be wondering, that was a long time ago, Lawrence. I don't have the agreement anymore. Well, I got something for you. You can go look up the credit card agreements on the CFPB website. So you actually can, if you don't have the agreement no more, you can go type in the company name, pull up what the credit card agreement is, and then you can see if you have an arbitration agreement in there. What if the collection agency is suing you? That's what this live is about. I'm going to post it on my page. I hope you're paying attention. What's going on? Okay, so that's the first thing, the arbitration agreement. If they suing you, you want to go to the CFPB, pull that company up, pull up the agreement. If it's an arbitration agreement in there, then now you can compel arbitration. Y'all move away from the sue process. So that's your first little tool on your belt. If you're getting sued, go to the CFPB, find the company's agreement, see if there's an arbitration, and then compel arbitration. All right. What else? Usually debt collectors, they have to show ownership of the debt. So, a lot of times when they come to you, what they're asking you is, or what they really telling you is, oh, here go proof that you owe this debt. Here go proof that you owe this debt. And sometimes they'll show you one or two statements, which that's not really even good enough. You really can request a full accountant history of first statement to last statement, just really trying to figure out, hey, look, I want to see everything that went on. You can't just show me two statements. I need to make sure that that's the balance. So you want to request a full accounting history, not just a few statements. And then the biggest and the most important thing is, hey, you're not sure if they actually really even bought the debt. So now what you're bringing in question is them showing that they have proof that they own it. What is proof that they own it? It's not a bill of sale. A bill of sale is usually like the front of the document. That won't be the whole document. The whole document is called the purchase agreement. And we know that these companies buy debt in bulk. So they might buy $100 million in debt. So that means all of that stuff is in the purchase agreement, not just that little section where they bought your debt, and then things must be clear. So now we're talking about the purchase agreement. You getting sued and you say, hey, I just want to see proof that you actually own this debt. See, there's a difference. You owing it and them owning it. So you calling them out on them owning it part. So that's your second thing. Hey, look, I just really want to see the purchase agreement. I don't want to see a couple pages, because I know the purchase agreement is a lot longer than a couple pages. So you're getting the full purchase agreement when it's 20, 30, 40, or 50 pages. And you say, all right, Lawrence, why is this purchase agreement so special? One, because that's proof that they own it. But then secondly, these companies, the original creditor, have statements in there. And you know what the statements say? We do not attest to the completeness and the accuracy of this information. So now you're talking about another dilemma. They bought debt that the original company said that they not even attesting to how complete and accurate this information is. So that's another reason why they don't want you to see that purchase agreement, because it's saying discrepancy things in there. So now that you're aware of that, you're like, all right, I need to see it all. Come on. Don't just show me a little bill of sale. That's what they'll try to introduce, maybe one or two to try to trick you because you don't know. So that's what this live is for. So that's the next thing, the purchase agreement, because you just want to make sure it's no confusing language in there. And then you also want them to prove that they actually.
Look at Apple, guys. Apple just cannot seem to give up. So yeah, somebody in there said, was that really a real print when E450? Yes, it sure was. Now we're back.
I wonder, can y'all still hear me? I had to turn her down. Let me see. All right, we back on here. So yeah. And now here's other things too. When you get sued by a debt collector, sometimes they are suing you outside of the statute of limitations. What is the statute of limitations? The statute of limitations says this is how long that a company is allowed to collect on this debt in your state. The key thing is in your state, because all states are different. They have different time frame. So you want to be aware of what the statute of limitations, how long a company has to collect on a debt. For example, in Alabama, if you look it up and you say, all right, they got 3 years to collect on this debt. And if they are trying to come after me after 3 years, then this is null and void. But if you don't know to look that up, then that's another escape route that you gave away. So the statute of limitations, and another thing that they must have is, do they have a license or certificate to collect in your state? That's another thing that you must be aware of. Like, they sue you, it might be past the statute of limitations, and they might not even have a license to collect in your state, and you worried and scared about, oh no, they suing me. No, all you need to do is stick to the facts and make sure you covered all of these bases, because you got all of these options when you're getting sued. So that's why I want to give this to you, so you don't have to be scared about in a lawsuit anymore. And then now, when we talk about, here's something that a lot of people may have thought too. They say, you know what? I don't want to mess with it because I don't want it to get re-aged and the account activity start over. That's a myth. It doesn't happen that way. How they calculate the 7 years is really 2 days. It's really 7.5 years if you look it up. The half is usually the 6 months it takes from when an account is fully delinquent and then when it's charged off. And then we look at what we call the first date of delinquency. That's usually when the account goes 30 days late and then it never gets caught up. It just goes into collection status. So you can calculate this yourself by looking on the credit report. Once you see that account was charged off, that month is your 7-year time. There's no activity that you can do that restarts the clock on anything. So don't be scared don't let anyone tell you that it's when it was delinquent and charged off. That's when you count the date. So that's basically a whole list of things you can do if you're getting sued by a debt collector, or maybe you got a client that you're assisting and you just want to offer them some advice. This is what I would tell them. I will go down that list, starting from making sure that there's no arbitration clause. And like I said, you can find the agreements on the CFPB website. Just type in the company name. You can pull up their agreement. And then also making sure that they show you that they actually own the debt. So that's a full accounting of what the balance is. You want to make sure that that's the correct amount, because you don't know. You don't remember, but you sure want to make them prove it. And then now we're talking about the other thing that's in the purchase agreement, that stating conflicting language, like the original creditor saying, we don't even attest to the accuracy of this information. We don't even know if it's all accurate, but we sold it to them. That's a conflict right there, though, because if the company is saying that they don't know it's accurate, then you yourself you don't know if it's accurate either. So they better get some better proving on than just saying, oh, here go a few statements. Oh, here go proof that you owe the debt. And play with these words. Remember, you owing the debt has nothing to do with them owning the debt. And that's what you calling them out. Hey, show me proof that you actually own this debt, and there's no conflicting language in this purchase agreement stating things like that everything may not be accurate. So little things like that you keep in mind. I'm pretty sure that you will get a lot of debt collectors to run. And then I just posted that little reel on my page. You know, that's how things change that fast. You see it be looking good, and then be like, whoop. Say, I have the credit card company suing me. I asked to go through arbitration. What am I supposed to say when we go through arbitration? Arbitration gets you away from the judge suing you, and y'all come to some amicable agreement between y'all. And then still doing arbitration, I think they got jams, and then the AAA. That's usually just a lawyer, a retired judge, or something like that, though. So now y'all having a regular conversation, and y'all talking about, hey, look, prove this, prove that. That's the conversation that you really want to have. But when you go to court, that's what you're trying to avoid, because you know you get the judge to render a decision, and that's concrete. Unless if it's something like we doing AAA. Okay, all right. Well, yeah, your defense, what's your defense? You got them out of the suing part, but I guess the specifics of the case would definitely tell us what your defense would be, because if you remember, this is about a collection agency. It's actually not about the original creditor. So this is for someone being sued by a collection agency because that chain of command is different. And then at the same time, too, if you're getting sued by the creditor, tell them to furnish all of the statements showing you from a zero balance to where the current amount is that they say you owe, and just proof of the whole accounting of the amount that they say you owe. So you want to put them in a paperwork game, basically. Produce this paperwork, and you got to have proof of whatever you're saying. We just can't let you make allegations. So that would be an approach I would take for real, just calling them out on the completeness and the accuracy of things, because that's really where it lies. So that's an angle you can take as well. So I just I was thinking about it, and I was talking to somebody, and we were having this conversation. They was like, oh no, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, damn, there's probably a lot of people online that probably didn't know that. Let me make this quick video for them and give them this little information. I'm sure it will help them in their process. So just something to keep in mind. I'm going to post that on my page if somebody missed it, and I'll see y'all soon.